What's up, guys? House dealer merch from Price to Sell is now officially live. We have sweaters, we have t-shirt, charcoal gray like I'm wearing right now. We've got red house dealer shirt, nice simple white. We got red, white, and black sweaters. Then we got the house dealer hats. We have the red, the black, and the white like I'm wearing right now. So to grab your merch, head on over to mbhtv.com, and don't forget we're giving away $5,000 to a lucky winner who buys any of this merch or any of the merch from any of our TV shows on mbhtv.com. We're announcing the winner on July 29th. Good luck. I'm gonna start with something fun that I saw. It was titled "How to Stop Rob Golfi Making Comments About Your Billboards," and then you did a response video. His sign is so massive it feels like Golfi is coming for you.
I was that guy that would see the nice car as a kid, 10, 12 years old, and I go, someday, it's always someday. First year, I did 40 transactions.
Oh, wow.
And I was always driven that way. I was always driven to go to the next step. I was never the one to just settle. I was on the phones like crazy. I'd had 2 headsets, and I hand dialed one, keying up the other number in case this one didn't pick up. Boom.
Welcome back to another episode of Price to Sell. We have an industry titan selling a house every 19 hours. The #1 remax team in all of Canada for 2022 is Mr. Rob Golfi in the building. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Matt. Walk, don't run, because you can be a millionaire in 10 years and set your goals and write them down and believe what you write down. It manifests itself, but you can become wealthy in 10 years. Doesn't matter how old you are.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Price to Sell. And today's episode, we have an industry titan in the building, and you'll know his name as soon as I say it. The #1 remax team in all of Canada for 2022 and #2 in the world for 2022, on top of many other accolades. Selling a house every 19 hours and dominating the industry since 1997. Here today to share a ton of value with all of us is Mr. Rob Golfi in the building. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Matt. A pleasure, and nice place you got here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I like it.
We recently had me at one of your events, which was awesome.
Yeah,
tons of value.
Thank you so much. And it was you guys did a fantastic job on stage. It was a lot of fun and very humorous. And yeah, thanks for coming out to the Hamilton Hammer and sharing some ideas with us.
Hammertown.
Yeah.
And now you're in the 6.
That's it.
So welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm gonna start with something fun that I saw, and it was titled "How to Stop Rob Golfi."
How to stop me? Oh boy.
You remember this? So there was a Reddit thread. Some people making comments about your billboards, and then you did a response video.
Yes, that's right.
I thought was hilarious.
That's right.
So some of the billboards, one of them said, "Those billboards should win the award for dumbest billboard ever. His sign is so massive, it feels like Golfi is coming for you." And those billboards make me actively learn that their name and faces, so I'll never use them. That's so, I found that hilarious, and your responses were hilarious.
Yeah, you know what? I remember doing that, and I can't even remember what the responses I did.
You're just
they went off the cuff. They went off the cuff. It wasn't record trained or anything like that.
Yeah.
They gave me those questions, and I just gave the first response off the cuff of my head.
Yeah, I thought it was hilarious because that's the best way to deal with when people want to be like that.
Yeah.
Just kind of make light of it. But nothing will point to someone that's really succeeding like some hate.
You know what? I remember when I started doing the billboards, especially with my arms wide open, and I had billboards out there, and it was just traditional portrait shot, just like everybody else has out there. Every realtor, here's a picture of me, here's my name, and here's what we do. But when I did the arms wide open, I knew there would be a segment of that's when the dividing line was going to happen between people either really liked me or really hated me. Mm-hmm. And so I rolled the dice. I says, I'm going to do it. I don't care. And the response was actually pretty positive. Now, the people that probably didn't like me before that picture, that billboard went up, probably still don't like me. They probably don't like me more, which I don't care. And the other people, and I think I gained more people that liked how I did my marketing, and just different. Mm-hmm. I wanted something different.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the best way. And it covers a lot of ground when it comes to buses and billboards. I with the arms all the way across. I cover the whole bus straight across.
Yeah.
So you can't miss me if you're coming into the Hamilton, Halton, Niagara region.
Just planting subconscious seeds.
Yes.
Which
absolutely.
is awesome.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome. but I want to dive into an early life, like Rob's early life, like
Yeah.
Rob before real estate. Tell us a little bit about your story.
So, I actually grew up in Niagara Falls, Ontario.
Okay.
My parents are immigrant, Italian background. My dad came here in 1952, and my mom came in 1953.
So do you speak Italian?
I speak a little bit of Italian.
Okay.
Broken Italian.
Yes.
And so the people that really speak Italian, they would laugh at me how I speak Italian. Okay. So I would like to take more Italian lessons, but I'm working on it.
Yeah.
But my parents met in Niagara Falls. So originally my dad was in Montreal because that's where his whole entire village moved to. But then he moved to Niagara Falls after because he had an uncle that was down here, and met my mom, and then I guess years later had us, and I grew up a traditional Italian upbringing. Sunday dinners. Just like, and all my friends were Italian growing up because there's a lot of Italians in Niagara Falls. It was grew up strict Italian. I grew up with three sisters, 2 older, 1 younger. My dad was very strict. He didn't want me to go off the beaten path. There was, some not shady characters, some bad kids on my street, and he made sure I didn't hang out with them. So, boy, I got a couple of slaps.
Slipper?
The slaps?
Slipper or wooden spoon? Which one?
I would get the slipper and the shoe from my mom and the wooden spoon, but I got the belt.
The belt.
Oh yeah, that was tough, man. When my dad just had to put his hand on the buckle, man, I said, okay, I got you. I got you.
That's
oh
hilarious.
yeah, but he was, you know what, and that didn't affect me. Like, I mean, a lot of my friends, we all went through that kind of thing, and I don't know if because. Like today, like you give a kid a belt, I mean, they have to go to therapy for 10 years.
Yeah.
If that's just maybe one time.
Yeah.
But back then, I mean, I don't know, like, did we need therapy? No. Like, I think we were just stronger.
Different times.
Different times. Our parents, wanted us to be stronger, and they wanted us to be better. That's why they came to this country. They came to this country to give their kids a better life and to succeed and take advantage of what it had to offer. That's why they left the old country back in the 50s and 60s.
Exactly, and I can resonate because my family did the similar journey. So was growing up, was real estate like? I'm like, older Rob want to be a realtor, or was something else in the vision?
So I was that one that dreamt a lot. I'm ADD, ADHD. I'm very hyper. And I was that guy that would see the nice car as a kid, 10, 12 years old. And I go, someday, it's always someday. And as I graduated high school, I knew the one thing I wanted to do was buy real estate. And that was the key thing, and be in business. But it wasn't being a real estate, like a realtor. That wasn't on my mind. It was buying real estate and having a business. And through my 20s, I did everything. Like I've done several businesses. A lot of them succeeded. A lot of them failed. I know, opening up a business, the cause of failure and everything else like that. So I've experienced that. I know what all that's about. But everybody always kept telling me, Rob, you got to get into real estate. And I said, I don't know, because I had business on my mind. I wanted a traditional business, not a small, clothing store, but like a warehousing, some wholesale business, that kind of style business. And I did do that. I had a beauty supply company, and we were supplying, to hair salons across Southern Ontario, and all the equipment for their salon, plus all the products that they needed and everything. That business I got into, I didn't know anything about. I was going on somebody else's information, and I learned a lot about business in that aspect. I learned about business. I'll tell you, I got my master's and I got my BA in business in my 20s because I made a lot of money and I lost a lot of money. So I was on the rise of becoming very wealthy in my early 20s. And then in my mid-20s, I was on the rise. That was going reverse. And then I had to think what I was going to do. And then when I hit 30, that's when I decided to, I think I'm going to get into real estate because I had to deal with people owing me money, accounts receivables, accounts payables, inventory. I hated it. And I said, I want to do something where I do a job and I know I'm going to get paid for it. And real estate was the best option. And yeah, and I got in October of 1997.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah.
That's cool because it's cool to experience certain things before real estate.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you're able to bring a lot of those lessons into.
I
the
did.
game.
That's how I
Yeah.
operate as a business. Not
Yeah,
just it's not a deal. It's not a transaction per
Uh-huh.
transaction. I operate my real estate business as a business.
Yes, huge thing to understand
Yeah.
beforehand. So how was your first year?
My first year, I did 40 transactions.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I didn't realize, but I became one of the top agents on our real estate board at 40 transactions back then. And no, I loved it, and from that point on, I had to make a decision what brand I wanted to be under, because I don't want to start building a big business and be under a brand that I'm not happy with. So Remax was the #1 brand in our market. I said, you know what, I'm just going to go with them and join them. And then I signed up with Remax. And ever since, it's been good. Yeah, I've been, I just kept pushing and pushing. And I saw other agents that at Remax had teams. And I go, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to leverage myself. I want to leverage myself and make more money. And I was always driven that way. I was always driven to go to the next step. I was never the one to just settle. I always kept my foot down to the pedal to the metal, and kept pushing forward to do more and more business.
Yeah, that's awesome. And 40 deals in first year is not small at all.
No.
That's incredible. Did you have any mentors in the beginning? Or any role models that pushed
I
you?
did. I signed up with coaching. Soon as I was signed up, they said you got to do. It was Mike Ferry. Now there's two Ferries out there.
Yeah, Tom and Mike.
There's Tom and Mike. So Mike was like on the phones, call expireds. You could call expireds back then, and I was a savage on it. There was one guy in the office that I was with. He was a big player with expired listings, but when I came into the picture, he saw me coming in, and he's going, holy shit, this guy's picking up business. And because I was kind of invading on his kind of little territory of going after expireds. And I was on the phones like crazy. I'd had 2 headsets. I hand dialed one, keying up the other number in case this one didn't pick up. Boom, got and I just kept going. I had 2 headsets on, and just kept going. I was, now I'll tell you, at that time, like I was a young father. I had 4 kids when I started.
At 30?
What's that?
You started at 30, right?
I started 30,
By the
but I
age of
had
30.
kids. I had my first at 22.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
I had 4 kids in 6 years.
Okay.
So I mean, I had no choice but to
Yes.
succeed. There was no failure in the vocabulary at all for me to do that. So if you want to succeed in any business, just have a lot of kids, and then you'll make it, because you got no choice. You got to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll jump into them later because you work with all of them
Yeah,
now, and
yeah.
I met them all at the event.
Yeah.
They're awesome. But so in your career as a whole, I think this is valuable for people to
Sure.
see someone super successful. What was your biggest failure? Well, you know what? Let's open that up. What was your biggest failure, whether in real estate or in life?
My
And
biggest,
what did you learn?
Yeah, my biggest failure is it's how would I say? I had different businesses that I failed. I had I don't know, like if I look back at now, the failures turned into a positive today. My biggest failure is sometimes I jump into things quicker than researching it.
Okay.
But saying that, sometimes if you know something too much, you may not get into that business. Like, if you researched every single business in this world, you will research yourself to not do that business. So I would research a bit of it and say, I'll get into this business and I'll make it work. Because no matter what, every business, no matter what type of business, is a success. Somebody's doing something successful in that business. It's just a matter of, can you make that successful for yourself in that business?
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of research and development, and I learned to do that in later years. But I like the biggest, like, yeah, it's hard to say failures because I don't look at I don't look at the failures as failures, to tell you the truth. They're failures at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
But they're actually, they help me
They don't
succeed
defeat
today.
you. They don't defeat you.
They don't defeat me. And I don't look at it that way. I'm wired differently. Like, I'm that guy that if you're a negative person or you talk negative, I'll either I walk away from you or I stop the conversation and just kind of try to get away from you as fast as possible, because I don't want any contamination in my head from anybody.
For sure. That's big. Like
Yeah.
negative people that complain,
Yeah.
victims.
Yeah.
That mentality, it causes it really affects you.
I get frustrated and anxiety. Like I don't need to hear that. I go, tell me what the situation is, and I'll solve the problem. And I'm a fast problem solver. I get the phone call. Okay, do this. Boom. I'll take care of that problem. I don't want to hear, like, sometimes when people are complaining or they've got negative stuff to tell you. I find negative people say the same thing over and over in the same 5 minutes that you're talking to them. And it's like a recording that just keeps playing over, and it's got a reel that just keeps going. And it drives me crazy. Just, okay, tell me what your situation is. I'm going to take care of it. And that's it. But don't repeat it 5 times in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It just gives me a heartache, and like, that's it. But again, like I said, I try to walk away from that. I was one of those guys that did everything in my 20s. Like Tony Robbins, I went to every real estate course, how to buy real estate for no down payment. I've done all that. And, how to, like Dale Carnegie, I did that.
Big, yeah.
I did, like I said, I did everything
Very cool.
in my 20s, and I still do it today. I still involved in any kind of coaching or any kind of self-improvement programs.
So how important is self-improvement for business in general, real estate?
Big time. Now, the one thing I preach to everybody, and I always say this: podcasts, books, and functions. You got to listen to podcasts. You got to read books, or even listen to audibles, and go to functions. If you're not doing any of that, you're not going to succeed. You're not going to get to become a superstar, or even to the highest level in your game. Like I will, go to any seminar. I try to go at least 4 or 5 a year, but minimum of 4. And I learn so much from it. You get little nuggets, then you get positive feedback. I get usually when I come back from either like it's either a multifamily conference or it's a real estate conference, how to better your business, improve more sales and more service, or it's Tony Robbins and improving yourself. I find that when I come back, I actually do more business, and I get, I don't know, it works. Like, that money is well spent when you're getting involved in doing any kind of seminars, functions, or any self-improvement.
Yeah. Maybe out of like these coaches or figures that you've learned from or followed or read, who do you think would be has had the most impact in your life?
You know what? Everybody has a little bit. The most you know what? I'm going to tell you something. The most impactful people in my life were when I was in my like 16, 17 years old, and my older sisters had people they worked for. And I remember this one guy, great guy, my sister worked for him. He treated his employees really well, and they loved him. And he did very well. He became very wealthy. And it stuck in my mind to say that, you know what, if I run my own business, I want to make sure that people that work for me are happy, that work for me. I mean, it's hard to please everybody. I mean, but I truly believe that if you create a great culture, work environment, people will stick around longer. People will work harder, and if there's any issues, they'll talk to you about it. And I'll never forget that. Like I just that kind of stuck to me, and so he was a good influence on me on a good way. Now, I know people out there that followed the wrong person, and they followed somebody that was more crooked, and they became crooked, and they've got problems now years later. And the guy that was crooked is in jail, and the young guy that looked up to him as a 20-year-old, now he's out of business. So two guys taking two different paths. I decided to take the path of, being integrity, honesty, and doing the right thing all the time, versus the other guy trying to cheat people out of doing things. So I think follow the right people. You got to follow good, right people, and you will win. You'll succeed in this world.
For sure. Success leaves clues.
That's right. Yeah.
And so let's jump into now the team building.
Yeah.
You've done a fantastic job at it. How many people on your team?
We got about 75 realtors, and we got about 30 admin staff.
So it's a full-blown business.
It's
something people should aspire to do to succeed at a high level in real estate. So can we break that down? Like, how did you start to scale?
So, okay, so there's times that I grew fast, but the best way in this business is walk, don't run. I always tell people, walk just one step at a time. So when I started with one realtor, and then it came to a part-time administrator. And we were able to keep the part-time administrator busy during the part-time hours, not twiddling her thumbs. And it just grew from there. Then I added another one. Then I added another one. Then I did the marketing, more marketing, added another one. I was on the phones. I found, I'll tell you this, as you're starting out, and this is a key factor here, as you're starting out when you're small, and you want, you're going to get this listing, but you want to do it yourself because you want to get the commission on that listing, and you don't want to pass it along. And I can't remember who told me this. They said, Rob, do not get into that state because you will never let go. So he goes, the more you share, the more you're going to get back. And when I found that when I let go, and I knew I had a Tuesday night open, I could have went on this appointment, listed this house, I would have got 100% of the commission, and then the agent on my team would just get the ad calls or whatever, or deal with the buyer. I literally gave it to the agent on my team. It was like given to them on a silver platter, get the listing, and then they would have to split the commission with me on that. I found the more I did that, the more I got back from the agents, and so I think you have to let go to get more, and that worked out. Like it was tough at the beginning, but I knew I had to do it, and I did it, and then we just grew from there, and just one at a time, and it's just it's crazy how big it is. It's gone right now.
It's very important, I think, because people get attached.
Yeah.
It's like, I can make that myself kind of mentality.
Absolutely.
And then you get stuck.
And then it prevents you from growing. And that's where a lot of people get stuck. They don't want to hand off and give that business to the agents that are on their team, and because they want it 100% themselves. Let go, and you'll see your business flourish, and you'd be amazed.
And so administrators are first, then you start to add on some agents.
Add on more agents,
like buyer's agent,
and then listing agents. So then, because I found out some of the agents are better at sitting down with the client, closing the, trying to get the listing and stuff like that. The stronger agents would be on the listing end. The buyer agents, as time came on, they became more confident. They would end up becoming on the listing end themselves also. I would go with them. Sometimes I still go to appointments right now. If we're in competition, have an agent on my team say, Rob, we're in competition. They need you. We need you there. We need to secure this listing. I will show up, and we go there, we sit down and talk, and we'll get that listing. I have no problem. I work the trenches still. I have no problem. I love it.
Yes.
And if you love what you do, it's not work.
Big time.
Yeah.
And how do you guys keep your pipeline so full? Because obviously, if someone is growing a team, like you said, sometimes you might grow too fast, but then not have enough business to feed.
It is.
And you're gonna get the complaints, and you're gonna get the what's going on, like why, all that negative. So how do you keep that pipeline full?
So we do pay per click.
Okay.
We also do direct mail. Our direct mail is a big part. But a lot of the agents aren't going to do what you tell them to do. Okay. So they're supposed to, we get the leads that come in, and we give it to them. Now, it's up to them to follow up with them or not. Like this business is not easy. I mean,
not.
you know it. Everybody thinks, they see all this, guys are driving nice cars and, the image that realtors give off, it seems like it's an easy business, but it isn't. So when they get into the business, there's a huge disappointment. There's like a letdown. They can't understand. Sometimes when they come on our team, they go, "What's this? What's happening?" It's actually better for a realtor to start on their own and go and battle it out the first year on their own and realize how tough it is, and then come to a team. When they come to a team, this is easy. I'm giving this guy business. I don't need to do this. When they go on their own, they're like, whoa. They realize how tough it is. But it's too late. A lot of times we don't take people back. Just say, you know what? Like we gave you everything, and now you are willing to jump to go on the other side of the fence, and now you want to come back. A lot of times we don't let them come back. Somebody leaves because they're relocation, like an agent, because maybe a spouse is moving away or they want to try a different career path. We will work with them and have them come back, but a lot of times we don't take them back. It's just, it's you know what I mean? Like it's this business, they don't know how tough it is, but they think it's tough because it's us that's tough. It's not. It's just them. They haven't accepted it, that they have to make the phone calls, the follow-ups, and deal with everybody. Hand your card out to everybody. Maybe put something on your lapel, like saying, "Hey, I am a realtor." You know what I mean? Ask me questions. Like this girl just told us the other day. She had what did she have on? She had something that said the Golfi team. She was going through the grocery store, and the lady says, "Are you a realtor?" She goes, "Yeah, I'm with the Golfi team." You know what? We're looking at putting my mom's house up for sale, and boom, she gave her card, bum, and guess what? Listed and sold. See? That's it. So you gotta let people know that you're a realtor, and show that that you're open for business. That's why a lot of realtors, they have those little pins that they put on them. And I know, hey, people may not like it. They think it's going to ruin their outfit, or they think it's tacky. Well, guess what? You can live broke and tacky, or put it on, and put it on and build some wealth from it.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And just like, you're at that point, you're the walking billboard.
Yes.
Complements the other billboards.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just all that branding, it's just being that awareness, right? And you're farming, right?
Yeah, we farm. We just sent out our first magazine to every house. We usually did a newsletter, just kind of a flyer situation. Now we got a magazine that's going to people's homes. So when they get it, they can, look at the listings. They can look at the stats that we have out there, and it's something, and something that they can put on their coffee table that's not ugly like a newspaper or anything like that. I'm hoping that it'll be a good response and success out there with thing. We're always pushing forward. We're always pushing forward and trying to make it better and better for not only for our clients that have their house listed with us, but our past clients. We continuously trying to service the heck out of everything that we do.
Yeah, and you guys do a lot of community events for your clients.
Absolutely,
like yeah. I think it's super. The more I'm growing to and learning, I'm noticing a lot of that too. And when it comes to, so now you mentioned what you learned from someone you witnessed him keeping all his people that he works with happy, right? So you guys operate by a set of values.
Yeah, we have our core values, and we get it, and we hand out awards for people that follow our core values, and it's big for us. It is a big thing for our core values that people followed along. And people like that. Like when people leave us, they realize how organized and how structured we are. A lot of times, if we get people from other teams, they can't believe how organized we are. When people leave, they like, whoa, I think I left something pretty good. But the one thing is, I know that what we go full tilt when we offer everything. Like we've got so much that we offer that. it would be hard for someone to duplicate because we do so much for our clients. Yeah. But the key thing is the core values, the culture in our office.
Yeah, that's huge. It's huge. And a lot of the, biggest agents I've had on here, everyone operates the same.
Yeah.
They keep people they work with super happy, an amazing culture, always giving back to the clients. Very, very similar. Like I said, success leaves clues.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's out there, people. That's why I do this podcast, to help you guys out and bring guys like Rob on.
I appreciate it.
But where do you think agents are failing the most right now?
Where are they failing? They're expecting the business to land on their lap out of nowhere. That's where they're failing. They're not following up. They're not staying in touch. I tell them, you got to work hard for 5 years, and work the 5 years, and then you'll start seeing it happen. But they're just. I think when we hire agents, we tell them, we say, listen, this is not an easy business. We know, I know I'm going to work it. And then they realize how tough it is. We hire no part-time agents on our team. If they've got a job, they have two choices. Either they got to quit their job or they got to quit us because we're not going to keep them. This is the only way you're going to succeed is you have to work full-time in this business. There's no part-time in this business. And it's not worth. We don't want anybody part time. So, but yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. And let's take it, people. So now you're operating. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we can say you're operating more of like a CEO role.
Yeah.
Now, right?
Yeah.
You're running the business.
Yeah.
Right. You're growing it, which is cool. Something I aspire to do too.
Yeah.
At some point when I get there. But let's take us into a day of what Rob's day looks like now, in that role.
So I get up and I'm up early, and I'll be at the office somewhere between probably, I'd say between 5:30 and 6:30. It depends.
Nice.
I don't have an alarm clock. I just wake up natural, and usually I'm up about just before 5 o'clock. So a lot of times I am going through the drive-through at the Tim Hortons at 5:30 in where I live. And so I get to my office, and where I live and where my office is about 30 minutes away. So I get there and I clean up. I go through my emails and deal with everything I got to deal with. And my executive assistant will come in probably about 7:30, quarter to 8, and we have a quick meeting every morning, and what's going to happen. And pretty well, we've got a lot of stuff done even before anybody is in the office. And now my executive assistant is getting her own office now, because when she started, I needed her in my office. She needed to know how I think, how I operate, what I say, what I do. And that has achieved. I've had other people that were in her role before her. They couldn't pick that up. And now she has the ability to make decisions for me without even asking me.
Which is huge.
Which is massive.
Yeah.
And it's worked out really well. She's helped me open up 2 different companies. It's amazing. You get the right person working with you, you'll be amazed how much you can accomplish. And that's the key thing right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all day, and I just answer, like any of the agents have any issues. I deal with the marketing. I deal with, what I'm going to, advertise in, and dealing with agents if they have any issues, all that kind of stuff. I do have a director of sales that handles all the agents, and I do have kind of lead, a lead manager to handle the leads with the agents, and myself, if there's any issues going on with like any people are dealing with any offers, listings, or anything like that, I'm there also to deal with that. And if there's an offer that's going sideways, we make sure to try to save it so it doesn't go sideways. I'm always there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I like it. Very cool.
Yeah.
That was like a personal question.
That was a personal
kind
question?
Of, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of want to build towards that too.
Yeah, no, that's
so
awesome.
I'm just curious how it works
Yeah.
at that stage.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. So as we come to the end here,
Yeah.
I want to ask you some, consider these like rapid
questions, rapid fire.
Okay, let's
Like,
go.
quicker answers.
All right,
But
quicker.
they'll be
I'll
fun.
make them short, not long-winded ones.
Yes. So, as someone who does a lot of self-development,
Yeah.
the most impactful book that you've read?
Think and Grow Rich.
Huge. Same.
Yeah. A
I
great book.
I stress that to everyone.
Yeah, it's one of the first books I read. I got a hardcover that someone gave me, and because they know I cherish that. Yeah, it's awesome. I have it. I got to tell you, I have that book paperback. I had it in cassettes. I had it in CDs, and I had it in audio, and I got it in hardcover. And
Wow.
I've read it probably about, I'd say 4 or 5 times already
Wow.
in my lifetime. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've gone through it like about probably twice, and
Yeah.
I'm feeling like I want to do it
Yeah,
again.
it's a great
at
book.
a different stage, and I might understand
Yeah.
it different.
Yeah, you know what? You pick up something different on every time you read,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny how it absorbs even bigger and more. In like, oh wow, now I understand that. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you're experiencing it and going through it. But that book is an amazing book.
I agree. So if you can have dinner with 2 influential figures at any point in history, doesn't matter dead or alive, who would they be?
It would be I would say some of the billionaires in real estate. Like it could be somebody like Jeff Bezos, like people that have amassed great wealth in real estate. Those are the people I'd sit down with. I would love to pick their brain and go through some of the things. And I have. I'll meet some people and send an email and say, hey, listen, I want to find out a little bit about you. You know, you got an hour? And usually those people, you'd think they wouldn't, but they will. They do share. They want to help. They want to help people hit different levels in the business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that too.
Yeah.
I noticed that too. Successful people just
They
wanna help.
want to share. They want to share.
they do want to share.
Yeah. They
There's
want to
other
help.
people that don't.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people that don't. But people call me people call me all the time. Like, I'll sit down with them. Not
Yeah.
a problem. It's always good to pass the torch down.
For sure.
Yeah.
I agree, which is awesome. If you can go back in time and tell young Rob one piece of advice, so maybe Rob like early 20s, just starting
Yeah.
out, what would it be?
You know what? That is a good question. I probably would have been. Yeah, that's a good question. I probably wouldn't have sold the real estate that I had in my early 20s. I would have kept it because some of the real estate I bought was like my first house I bought, the first one was 40,000, the second one was 34,000. Now, like, you know, and I was like 20 years old, and I started buying houses when I was 20. I wouldn't have sold those. I would have kept everything. I don't sell anything that I have now. I keep everything, and I just keep buying and buying and buying. And but yeah, I wouldn't. I would have bought more. I would have bought way more in my 20s. Yeah,
Interesting.
and stayed. Now, what happened was the recession kicked in the 90s. That was a tough one. A lot of like your generation haven't experienced a massive. That was a tough and the whole decade. So in our market, the average sale price in our market in 1990, I wasn't a realtor though, was I think 165,000. In 1999, it was 165,000.
Oh, wow.
So nothing like I always preach that house prices double every 10 years. That's the only decade that it hasn't doubled.
Okay.
Because if you wipe out the 90s, house prices doubled every 10 years since the
Interesting.
1960s.
Yeah, very cool perspective to share,
Yeah.
because we complain now, you know?
Yeah.
But, and then last question is, if you could, you know, to the young, aspiring business person out there, entrepreneur, realtor, whatever they're in, what's one piece of advice you would give them?
Take your time, walk, don't run, because you can be a millionaire in 10 years. You just gotta pace yourself. Canada, I tell this to everybody, like you can be a millionaire in 10 years, but people don't see that. You can be a millionaire probably quicker in the U.S. because they have way more opportunities. But in Canada, if you take your time and set your goals and write them down and believe what you write down, because I write everything down. I have, you know, I've got the vision board. I wrote down what I wanted to accomplish in 12 months. I put it in an envelope, sealed it, March of next year, I open it up, see what I've accomplished.
Cool.
But you got to believe and you got to write it down. Everything you write down, it manifests itself. But you can become wealthy in 10 years. So it doesn't matter how old you are.
Love it. I couldn't agree more with that stuff. I do the same. So
Awesome.
it's amazing. Well, Rob, thanks for coming.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Loved it.
This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Where can we find you? Anyone, all the new fans out there.
Yeah, so you can find us. You can go to robgolfi.com. Last name spelled Golfi. Robgolfi.com, golfi.ca or whatever. Or you can check us out, the Golfi team, and on any of the Instagram or TikTok or anything. On Instagram we've got the Golfi team listings and the Golfi team. So it just depends. Because we list a lot, we didn't want to infiltrate our listings on our regular page. But yeah, check us out. You find us. Send me a message. You can. I'm easy to be found. Just Google me and let me know what I can help you out with.
Awesome. Well, you've been great. So thank you. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you thought that this provided a lot of value for you, probably did for someone else, so share with them too. And we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.